Hey everyone. Hey Kay from Steamin' Hot, Texas. Well, I'll tell you what, it's steamin' hot Connecticut too. Oh my goodness, we are melting here and I have no air conditioning in my studio because the years that I put it in, I really didn't use it. So, yeah, it's warm. Woo! So, I'm also babysitting my daughter's puppy again, but I was able to do some work while I was babysitting her, and I'm very excited. I want to share my new design for the front yoke top. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I'm very excited because I mentioned this in the description of Fab Fit Friday for today. Metro Textiles is having a 60% off sale and for 4th of July. And I put the link and the coupon code for that in the description. And so yesterday I was looking for khaki fabric because remember, I'm going to be making this into a top and I want to have some nice shorts to go with it. And I wanted to make khaki shorts, so I was looking for khaki fabric. And of course, you know how when you go to the grocery store and you end up, going there for one thing and you end up, spending $300 on groceries? Well, that's kind of what happened when I went to Metro Textiles. I decided to look through every page of their fabric. So instead of looking for a specific type of fabric, I just started looking and I found some really nice fabrics and I'm thrilled. I ordered them yesterday around noon and they got here in less than 24 hours. So they have really fast service. Now I will say it helps me because I literally live, very close to New York City. So, it comes quick for me. I can drive there in 3.5 hours without horrible traffic. So I do have the geography for a quicker delivery, but it came really fast. So I'm going to share it with you. Look how big this box is. See? It's a big box. So let's go. We're going to open it up and I'm going to show you what I picked out. And then we're going to talk about what's going on with my top. So let me just switch my view here. I need to go to table shot. Here we are. I think that's a pretty good, let me just make sure, just want to make sure that's not too bright. Let me just fix it a little bit, make it a little less. Okay. All right, let's open up this bad boy. I'm going to use my old scissors. So all of this fabric cost me $130. And I think shipping was $18. So let me show you what I got. So it's in a bag. So I can put the box down. Okay, so this first fabric is a poly, and it might have a little rayon, I can't remember, matte jersey, and it's navy. And Victoria's here. She is working on a dress sloper. That's very cool, Victoria. And Lindsay's here. You're finally making it for the first live. I'm so happy you're here. I'm kicking it off with my, this is my fabric haul from Metro Textiles that I ordered yesterday. They're having a 60% off sale. All right, so this, I don't know if you guys know, I'm going to bring in my camera a little bit closer here so I can really show you what's going on with this fabric. This fabric is matte jersey. And what's nice about matte jersey is that across the grain, it has, this particular one probably has, I would say, between 10 and 15% stretch. It's not very stretchy, but it's got nice structure. And the thing about matte jersey is it does not cling to your curves. So if you're looking to make a dress or a skirt that just skims you and skims along your curves, matte jersey is a really good choice. So this is a pretty dark navy color, so I bought 3 yards of that. And sometimes it's hard to find nice matte jersey, so when I saw it, that's why I decided to get it. I'm not really 100% sure. This will probably be a fall sewing project, but you know, get it while the price is good. Matte jersey. All right, now we're coming to the reason why I went shopping in the first place. I have two different khakis, and we're gonna compare these two khakis. Let me put this down here for a second so I have more room. Okay, so I was intrigued. One of them is an Italian stretch khaki, and the other one was described as a tight woven khaki. And they're both cotton. And this one is the, I'm guessing this is the tight woven khaki. It does seem to have some give. I would not say that this was stretch per se. Let's test the other one. I might be wrong. Oh yeah, I think I am wrong. All right, so I think this is the Italian stretch khaki. So it's from Italy. It's got a nice, you know, the nice twill weave to it. I think you can see if I zoom in here, you know, it has that nice, nice weave, twill weave. And I got 2 yards to play with. I want to make, you know, longer shorts. And then this one is 100% cotton, no stretch. And I actually think I like this color better. So you can see the two colors next to each other. Make this a little bit wider now. This is no stretch, but it has a very slight give to it, and it's very soft. So I have these two versions to play with because I want to be making some things to go with all the things I'm working on for top. So tightly woven 100% cotton twill for khaki pants, and Italian stretch twill for khaki pants or khaki shorts. So I'm glad I got these two. I cannot wait to wash these up. And I think I'm going to use my shorts for everybody pattern to make myself some shorts. Those shorts go to the knee. All right, now we're getting to the fun stuff. When I saw this, I had to have it. This is a red and blue cross woven denim. So what I want you to look at for this is not a twill weave. It's a cross woven, let me see if I can show you the texture of this. You know, it's kind of soft. I think it'll get softer when I wash it. I might wash this with some Coke. But I just want to, let me just brighten this up so you can see the weave on this. You see how it's really not a twill weave. It's more of a, you know, cross woven, and you can see from the selvage edge the red threads are running cross grain, and then you can see by, it looks like they just tore this, right? Those are all the dark blue threads. So I'm very excited for a cool pair of fall jeans, right? So this is another fall fabric, but well, it was 60% off. I decided to take advantage of it. And this is Japanese denim. So you can see a lot of Japanese denim comes with really cool selvage edges. So I wouldn't say this is salvage denim because it's wider than a salvage denim. I think this was 59 or 54 inches wide. So you can see here if I fold it in half and then spread out my view here, so you can see it's pretty wide. If I measure it, it's 28. It's 58 inches wide. I'm sorry, 56 inches wide. So I'm kind of excited about that. It has almost an iridescent look because it looks purple because it's red and blue. So I'm excited about that. You know, I know I said I was trying to use what I have in my stash, but you know, sometimes when you see things you like, you have to take advantage of them. All right, now this, I got this because I had some of this in my stash and I used it all. So this is a indigo blue cross woven linen. So it's got white threads along the warp and blue threads across the cross grain, the weft. You know, it feels pretty soft. I'm going to wash this and see how this works out, but I do love this this combination of an indigo blue and a white. They had it in several colors, so they had it in like baby blue and sky blue, and I think they had like a lavender color. So there were a lot of different choices. It kind of reminds me of the fabric I got at Fabric Mart. See, so this is a red, you know, red cross woven. It kind of reminds me of that. So I'm very happy I picked up this. And then let's see, I have one more that's a knit. Oh, I thought this was a knit, but I don't think it was it's a knit. Okay, this is not a knit. This is funny. I thought this was I must have been hallucinating when I ordered this one. I thought this was a rayon jersey. It's clearly not a rayon jersey. It's a super stretchy woven. Look at this. Look at the stretch on this. This is like super stretchy fabric. And I don't know what I'm going to do with it now because I thought this was a rayon knit. So this would be an example of, make sure you read the description carefully. I don't know, maybe I'll make a pair of pants. Right? I can make a pair of pants out of this. It's very stretchy. It probably has, I don't know, like 40% stretch this way. And for a woven, that's a lot. And then no stretch in the vertical direction. So I guess I'll wash that up and see what happens. I do like the fact that when you stretch it, it really doesn't, I mean, the design expands obviously, but you can see it really doesn't like morph that much. So, all right, well, this is my surprise fabric that I thought I was getting a knit, and it's not a knit. So there you go. Has anyone in this watching me order something they thought they were getting and it turned into something completely different because you didn't read? Because I'm pretty sure this was operator error. But it is pretty, right? It's red and white. Very patriotic for 4th of July weekend. So there you go. Those are my fabrics. Let me just stop and say hi to Samina. Hello from UK, London. I love the Japanese denim. Thanks for sharing. Of course, you do need to buy fabric when it's offered, and then it'll be gone when you actually need it. That is so true. And plus, you know, it was a really good sale. Like I said, I saved obviously more than I spent because it was 60% off. So, you know, that was really nice. So let me just see here. All right, so that is the fabric haul portion of Fab Fit Friday. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'm really going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with this because, like I said, I didn't expect it to be a woven. But the rest of it is right what I thought, and I'm very excited. So I'm going to just move all this stuff out of my way. I'm going to put it back in the box for now. All right. Now, you can see I'm wearing these shorts. If any of you have my performance sports knit, I woke up in the middle of the 100 plus degree weather we're having. I made these shorts in 20 minutes. So, and they're cool and comfortable, and they're very short. So, I'm sharing that with you because you saw them. All right, now let's get this out of my face. All right, I want to bring these up here. I want to show you the original design first. Now, if you remember, we worked on this together. Let me just see if I can get this to be there. All right, that's better. Okay. We worked on this together a couple Fab Fit Fridays ago, where I showed how to rotate the bust dart up to the shoulder. So it was a shoulder dart, and then I cut out the middle to make a front yoke. And then in the end, I did not love this design because I felt like I was wearing a bib. So what happened was every last Sunday of the month, I get together with my YouTube Insider Club. And if you enjoy FabFit Friday, I really recommend joining the YouTube Club because it's really, well, first of all, it's an amazing resource for my content on my YouTube channel because all of my tutorials are organized by topic and in order. So there's pants fitting, there's shirt fitting, there's bodice drafting, there's FabFit Fridays, there's pool tools, there's like 20 something topics, and so each topic can be instantly downloaded, and then you can click on the table of contents to get you to the HTML page, and then that also will take you right to the video if you want to watch it. So that's the primary reason for the YouTube Club, is to make my content more accessible. But on top of it, there's a community page, and I'm really trying to rev up the the participation in there because I want to make it valuable. There are sources for fabrics. A lot of times, we get together on the last Sunday of the month. So like I'm doing here, you can see me, but I can't see you, right? So if you join me for the live meetup, then you can see me and I can see you. So this past Sunday was our live meetup, and a few things happened. The first thing was I showed this, and we came up with ideas to change this design to make it less bib looking. And then one member shared fabric that she purchased, and it's like Velcro fabric. And I'm going to be doing that as a cool tool once I order some for myself, but it's really good for things like adaptive sewing. So if you have someone that has trouble opening, buttons or even regular Velcro, this is really soft Velcro, so it's good for adaptive sewing. But it's also good if you want to baste a strip into your center front of a fit muslin, or even like instead of a fly, you could baste in a piece in your center front of your pants to help hold that shut while you're trying to do your fitting. So I will be featuring that later, but I'm learning a lot of stuff, and I have a great time during these live meetups. We have some people from Australia, we have some people from Canada, we have some people from the UK. It's really quite a group. And if you can't come to the live, you can always catch the replay as well because they're recorded. But in any case, I showed this and we talked about it. And what we came up with, the two main suggestions were, change the shape of the neckline, make it more deep, and then also raise the line. So if you look at where this originally hits me, it would hit me down here in the fullest part of my bust. And what I want to do here, because I work with muslin, is I just want to draw where the seam is so you can really see it. So this is where the seam is now. Now, for those of you who follow along with me, and then I like my designs to continue around to the back. So the shoulder seam matches, and then there's a back neckband that matches on the shoulder. So it kind of looks like that in the back. Let me get this up a little bit closer. Okay. So it's like that in the back, and then in the front it's like this. Okay. Now what I did this time is I cut the entire shirt on the bias, because if you have a full tunic kind of top like this and you have something that's a little bit, it'll look boxy, but if you put it on the bias, the bias hangs nicer. Now this is on my size 18 French European dress form. It's a little bit smaller than me up here, so it's not fitting like it would fit me if I had it on my ditto form, but I just wanted to show you them together so you could see the difference. And I'm much happier with this. And if I were to keep drawing here, like if I were to draw this down here and like this down here, what is that style line? Anyone know? Well, I'll tell you. It's the style line of the knit top I'm wearing, my T pattern. So it has a center front, and then it has two side front pieces, and the seam is right here, and it goes all the way to here. So it's basically like I'm making a woven version of my original tee now without meaning to do that. Like, I hadn't thought about that until, you know, it came out like this. But I'm very excited about this. So now what I want to do is show you how I got this. And then I want to show you some things I have to fix. So for example, I walked the edges, right? And so I had to lengthen this neckline 5/8 of an inch. I had to lengthen this 5/8 of an inch. So I cut it and spread it. I'll show you. And I also had to lengthen this a little bit because of the way I lifted this up. Oh, excuse me. So let me show you on the paper pattern what I did. And then because it's on the bias now, I think I might want to get rid of the traditional side seam because you know bias does not like to be sewn across its grain. It tends to ripple. So let me switch back to my table shot here and let me get my pattern pieces. Let's start with the front. Let me just get this over here so I can show you. All right, so what I did was the original piece, if I just lay these like right next to each other, I'm sorry, I have my fan going because it's really warm in here, but if I lay this like this, okay, you can see this was the front yoke and it extended down to here, this line right here. So what I did was I cut off this portion of the front yoke and I taped it into place here. So I got rid of the seam allowance here, so it's 1-to-1, and then I lined up the stitching line with the stitching line, you know, that comes down here. Okay, so what that ended up doing was it basically ended up moving that dart up here. Okay, and because I moved it up, now you can see this is longer because I went up on a diagonal angle. So see how this is moving this way. So down here, if I continue this line, just to show you what I mean, the edge of this was right here. So I lengthened it, you know, like 3/8 of an inch, like this much more. I lengthened it that much more up here, right? Because now it's, you know, technically it's like this. So we had to lengthen it. So you can see I lined it up and I thought I fixed it. See how that kind of matches. But when I went to sew it together, it was short. Oh, and the way I lengthened this was I slashed and spread this right here. Okay, so see how I slashed and spread that to make it bigger, but I didn't make it big enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk this again. So here is the corner right here, and here is my corner right there. That's where that has to match. So I'm going to put those two corners together. Oops. I'm just going to use my KDK bag is still downstairs in my suitcase. I'm being very lazy about unpacking my suitcase for my last trip. Okay, I'm going to line this right up here. Okay, I'm lining these dots together, and you can see when you get over here, it's still this much too short. Okay, but when I put this on, I don't think I need to have this extra. So what I'm going to do is, instead of making this even bigger, I'm just going to cut this little bit off. Okay, and I want to verify that with you before I do it. So what I'm talking about here is, instead of making this wider, I think what I'm going to do is make this narrower. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that top off my here, and I'm going to put it on me so you can see what I mean. Because the French European dress form isn't a good representation of my size. Okay, so let me switch my view here. All right, so see, now I'm wearing it, and I think you can see I can probably pinch out you know, that ½ inch, you know, and you can see I still have plenty of room on either side. Like, I don't want it to be huge and look like a tent, so I'm just going to take it in all the way down to the hem, like this. Okay, so I'm just going to take in this pleat, and that way I don't have to touch this, because I do like the way this is fitting, but I want you to take a good look at this too, because I'm wondering if this should be a V. Like, it doesn't have to come down to here. I mean, it could. My cleavage starts about here. Or I could just make it, you know, a slightly different V. I could also open it up and make it a little bit wider around my neck. So what do you think about that? If anyone has an opinion about what I should be doing with this neckline, let me know while I'm fixing this part right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here down, oops, let me switch my view back to the table. I'll make this a little bigger. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move, sorry about that. Okay. All right, so I am going to just move this out of the way because I'm not changing that. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mark this all the way. It works out to be almost a ½ inch, like a generous, like 7/16 is really what it is. It's just under a ½ inch I'm taking off here. All right, so now I'm going to cut this off. Like this. So that fixes the difference, or where I had to ease it in to try it. So that takes care of that issue. Okay. And then in the back, I think my back is okay. What did I do with my little back neck piece? Here it is. I think what I did in the back, I think I already fixed it. When I was sewing it together, I realized that this had a center back seam, but I cut it on the fold, so it was 1 inch too big. So I was able to make it work in the purple. I was able to make it work, and let me just show you. When I made my first sample, this fabric, this gauze is very forgiving. I could mush it. It doesn't stretch, but on the bias it does have a lot of give. So when I sewed this back neckline on, when I sewed this onto the back neckline, there are a few puckers in there because I had to get it to fit, because I think it was too big here. When I sewed it out of the muslin, it became obvious that the back neckline was too long. So let's just double check to make sure. And I'm just going to stop and say here, let's just see here. Victoria was just thinking how good a V-neck would look. I would make 2 tops V-neck, and then one with the one I have and one with the V-neck. I might try that, Victoria. And Kay says she's thinking about the V-neck too. And up, REM Gaming TV is in the house. Hi, Jason. I hope you have a happy 4th of July too. I'm going to text you after. Thank you for stopping in. I hope you're not as hot as I am. Woo! I'm starting to sweat in this. It's awful. So warm in my studio. I'm on the 2nd floor. I can always tell when my hands start to stick to my paper. All right. I just want to double check this because I can't remember if I took off the extra ½ inch here because I'm going to do it on the fold. So the way you check that, obviously, is you walk it. So let me do that. I'm just going to walk it right along the edges here. Well, it's about a 1/4 inch to, the neckline's a 1/4 inch too long. Okay, thanks, Jason. All right, so I'm going to take off a 1/4 inch because that's what it says. I mean, that's what the pattern walks. Okay, let me just... Oh, by the way, if any of you have sew tights and these little magnets, sometimes, you know, having them stuck on a long time can get the little magnet to fall out. I just use a dot of Monster glue to stick it back in because this little magnet is a little bit loose in this booster from all of my usage. So if that happens to you, you can just put a dot of glue and put the, you know, put the little magnet back in, and it will be as good as new. All right, so I am going to cut off a 1/4 inch here. Okay. Okay, so again, I'm just going to cut this off so I can cut it on the fold. And I have a center back seam on the neckband. Oh, I am not doing a good job cutting this. All right. Let me do it like this instead. Give a long straight edge to trim off. Using a ruler will always give you a better result. There we go. Okay. All right, so that's all set now. All right, so now my top, all the pieces are now trued up, and I'm happy with the fit of it. So what I'm going to do now is, and I should have done this before I came on, I should have made copies, because in order to get rid of the side seams, I have to have a full front and back piece. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find out what I do with my paper. Here it is. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I want to keep these original pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this here. I'm just going to cut off a piece that's long enough, like this. Put these away for a second here. I want to show you an easy way to create a full front or a full back pattern piece. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to fold this Oh, Samina wants to know if I use the same rotary cutter for paper and for fabric, and the answer to that is yes, I do. Although I normally, yes, I do. But I will tell you that paper is not as dulling to blades as it used to be because of, you know, a lot of the more, you know, invasive fibers are not in there. And I did a cool tool on these. I get 15 of these for $9.99. These are Japanese, really nice rotary cutter blades, and they're only like $15 for, I'm sorry, $9.99 for 15 of them. And they last me months. So I really don't feel like I need to baby my rotary cutter blades. All right, now I'm going to do the front first. So I'm just going to put enough paper, folding it down the middle to cut out a full front like this. And I think I can I'm using my grid so I don't have to draw a center front line. Okay, so I'm just right on the grid. Like this. I'm going to put I'm also going to make this a little less bright so you can see better. I think that's better. Oh, hey, Pat. Oh, I love Kashi. I love Kashi. He is such a nice man. All right, I cut just the right length of paper because it's hitting right here and right there. So that was a miracle that they made this exactly long enough for the front. So I'm lining up the cut edge with the fold, right on the fold. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut this out. And so now we'll have like a neat copy of this that I can play with. I'm just going to cut this out so I can get it out of the way. All right, so now I have let me just cut my hem here. Okay. All right, so now I have a full front. Open it up and look at it. Look how, when I open this up, like when this was a flat piece of fabric, look how huge that looks. But remember, there's a dart in here, so when you sew it, this comes in like this, right? And it creates the cup shape. See how that kind of creates a cup shape over here? So I was kind of like, wow, that's a huge pattern piece. But there's my front. And then let's see if I have enough to cut the back out. I don't. So I'm just going to add a little paper. So I need so I just need about a little more than half more. I think I'll cut it like, Right, so this one, I'm just going to cut it over here. Probably need about this much. All right, look, I'm going to use my Guggenheim scissors to cut my paper. You can see I'm just cutting it right along the roll. I do not believe that paper dulls scissors or rotary cutters anymore. I think there's a lot of fabrics, especially things like fleece, and different polyester fibers that actually might be more dulling than paper. So I don't really worry about using my good scissors for paper. All right, let's see. I'm going to tape these together now, and let me just stop and see what Phyllis. Hi Phyllis, watching from Melbourne, Australia. I love watching your videos, and I love that you're sharing your knowledge and experience with us. Thank you for that. Well, you're entirely welcome. Phyllis, did you know I'm coming to Australia? I am going to be teaching at the Australian Sewing Guild in February 2027. So if you're in the ASG, or if you are going to be near, it's going to be in, I'm flying into Sydney. It's going to be in Newcastle. So I will be there. I think it's the 20th, the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd, or the 20th, 21st, 22nd, sometime around then. But I'm going to be in Australia. Okay, says good to know about paper and scissors. Yeah, I really, like, I really don't notice that it creates a problem. And I have all the good ones. I have Guggenheim. I have 11-inch Gingers. I have the 11-inch Kai scissors. I use them all. The Kai scissors are the best for cutting paper because I don't have to do this. I just slide it right down, and it cuts it like a blade. So, you know, I mean, if you find that I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I really don't usually experience any sort of problem with that. All right, so I am going to tape, let's see, I'm going to tape this right onto here, and I want to try to match the grid. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut it to match lengthwise. So I'm just going to cut it off over here. I'll just save this little square of paper for something else. Okay, so now I'm just going to tape this right here, like this. And I'm trying to, again, I'm trying to match up the grid. All right, so I'm just going to tape this right down. I'm not a fan of piecing my paper together when I'm working on something, but I also don't want to waste paper, so I'm going to just tape this down like I mean it. And then, just to make it more durable, I'm also going to tape it on the back side so nothing comes undone. Like this. All right. And then you can fold it in half on one of my lines. Like this. Okay. I'm just trying to get it even on the grid here. I think that'll be okay. And then I'm just going to stick my back on there, and I'm going to cut this out. All right, so I made it a little bit too much, but we're just going to go with it. Okay. Like this. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut this out. Now I already have straight side seams, which is going to be really easy to convert this traditional side seam into a bias thing. So let me just trim off my hem over here. Like that. All right, so now I have a front and a back. Here. So here's my back. Okay. All right, so now that I did this, what do I do with my full front? Okay, so my front. So in order to get rid of the traditional side seams, what I'm going to do here is on this back piece, I am going to draw my 1/2 inch allowance. So I'm basically going to draw a 1/2 inch here. Because you guys know what I'm talking about, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a whole series on how to create a bias top starting with a knit, a knit front and back sloper or knit T pattern. And I showed this whole process already when I was working on that. Or I'm going to leave that one there. Then I'm going to get my front. This edge right here is going to attach to it, right? I'm going to get rid of the seam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the 1/2 inch here. And the easiest way to do this is to cut one off and then line up the cut edge with the, uncut edge. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this off like this. Okay, and then I'm going to tape that onto here. And something happened to my side seams. They're not matching, but that's all right. I'll fix that. I thought they were matching, but for some reason now, the reason why they're not is because I cut the seam allowance off. Well, no, that shouldn't matter. I don't know. We'll fix it. Right, and I know the other question was, the other question people had was, can I get this over my head? And I really can get it over my head pretty easily. Okay, so now let's look at this. Here is my front. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to make my fan. Right, let me just lay this like this. Okay, so here is the front, the way the front looks, right? Fix that one. Right, so here's my front. Okay, I taped together the side seam. Let me just stop and see some more comments here. Kay said, good to know about paper and scissors. Hey, Polly. Polly says, I agree with the scissors. I have heard people from one of the companies say that the blades are so fine milled these days that they're fine on paper and fabrics. Oh, and then Phyllis says, wonderful news, but you're wonderful. Well, thank you, Phyllis. And then Pat is asking, can the neckline be similar to the shape of the yoke? You mean a square neckline? I could do a square neckline. I can test that. I think I might try a V first though, but I can try. The reason why, well, all right, so now here's the issue. On my bias, you know, dress and top pattern, let's look at this. I brought this over here to show you. Let me just turn it right side out so I can show you what I'm talking about. So on this dress pattern, if you remember, I got rid of my side seams, and I started at the center of the V, and this seam goes down, you know, and then it goes, you know, around to the back, right? So I want to do something similar to get rid of the straight side seam. So I'm thinking, it looks like you're wrangling one of those 3-arm dress patterns from the 70s. Oh, I know. Well, it looks like I'm wrangling partly because I have my fan on, because it's 1,000,000 degrees in my studio. I'm on the 2nd floor, and we're on day 3 of, you know, we're on day 3 of hot, hot, hot. Okay, so now what I could do here, oh, also, while I'm talking about this, I'm going to pack this episode with so many things. I'm turning my iron on because I want to see if I can iron the wash away thread I shared this week on Cool Tool. So I'm going to heat my iron up so we can test that too. I saved the scrap that I hadn't washed out the thread yet. So let me see. I want to show you that too. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know, let my iron heat up while I'm doing this other thing here. Okay, so I was thinking I could make a center front opening. And so, like, if I drew a line like this, let's say I drew, oops. Sorry, I'm ripping my pattern, hold on. Okay, so if I drew this line, I'll do this one in blue. Now it needs to kind of go along a bias, so it would be this line right here. So I could go this way, right? And you can see this seam would actually end right where the side seam is. So if I draw it here, you'd sew it together from this corner of the yoke down. I could do that. Or another option I can do, and I'm going to draw it the opposite way because I put that other side seam on. Another option could be I could start here, and I can go this way, and then it would go into the back. You see what I mean? So I could go like this, and then it would go down to here. It would almost reach the center of the back. See what I mean? So it would be from this shoulder, this bottom corner of the yoke all the way down to almost the center back, because this right here is my center back, right there. So see, I could do it like that. I think it might be more interesting to go across into the back for a style line. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go with this one. Does anybody have any opinions on that? And where I'm going to cut this to get rid of the side seams. Pat says, yep, too dang hot. I tried to get my space earlier. The fan was not enough. I don't know how you're doing it. Well, I will tell you, this hasn't been a banner week for getting a lot of things done. Because this is like we're going into the 4th day here of really hot weather. So I was good the first day. The second day, I think I was in shock that it was so hot, and it was also my husband's birthday. So we had a pool party with our granddaughter, and we got the littlest Carvel cake they had, and the 3 of us ate the whole thing by the pool. And then yesterday, oh, that was Wednesday, I'm sorry. Tuesday I visited my dad. Wednesday was my husband's birthday. And then yesterday, I didn't get a lot done either. So I've been kind of half working here, but I was really motivated to do this. I'm very excited about this top, and I want to get it going. So I was extremely motivated. I think that's how I'm able to do it. All right, so I think I am going to go with this style line right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out. All right, and if you guys don't know, if you have something on the bias that you're designing and you try to sew a straight side seam going, perpendicular to the bias grain, the seams can pucker and not lay nice. So doing it this way, this will sew smooth because you're going with the bias grain. So this is a better way to sew it. Okay, so let's see. Pat just asked another great question. So the bias seam is done before you sew the visible neck facing. Yes, and really it's more of a yoke. It's not really a facing, it's more of a yoke. Where is that pattern piece? Oh my god, I hope I didn't use that pattern piece. I'll find it. Between the fan and all of my, oh, here it is. No, that's not it. Here's my little back. Here's my front. Well, I'm sure it's somewhere in this room, but it's like a front yoke that I have on. But basically what I'm going to do here is, now that I have cut this, I have to add seam allowance, because if I don't add seam allowance, it's not going to sew together right. So I think this piece of paper will be long enough. So I'm going to go ahead and cut strips here. Oh, you know what? I bet I can do it. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this, I'm going to tape it here. Like this. All right, and then I can take this piece and tape it over here, and we can kind of do both of them at the same time. I'm just going to take this one right here. Oops. Alright, so I'm going to take this one right here. Then I can kind of do it all in one step. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a 1/2 inch here. Now, if you're ever trying to, if you cut things apart, all right, let me just stop and see. People are commenting. We're having some weather conversation here. Hold on. Samina says last week we had 98 degrees in London. It was, so a lot of us didn't do much as we are not great if you're not used to high heat and humidity. I did see that on the news. I am so sorry. I'm hoping you have relief now. I was watching that in the news. And then Kelly says it's normal for Texas weather in the summer, but it's tolerable because everyone has AC here. I don't think I would survive it without AC. Oh yeah, I agree with you. My husband offered to put my air conditioner in, and I just decided against it because I never really turned it on when I had it here. All right, so here's a tip for you. If you're trying to mark an allowance and you cut it and you added paper, the best thing to do is put some dashes along the edge of the original pattern piece, so when you line your ruler up, you can see that, and that will help you get an accurate ½ inch. See, now I can see where the edge of the paper is, and I can, draw that. So there's my ½ inch there. And then I'm going to do the same. Now this one has a line so I can see it, so now I just need to flip it around to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. Oh, and actually what I can do is I'm just going to cut real carefully here on my Sharpie line. Okay, so that's my, we'll move that out of the way now. All right, so now I'm going to make my, oh, it is a banner day for 3M tape. So now I'm going to add my ½ inch over here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to cut this little strip off. Okay. All right, so now that's going to allow me to look at this weird shape I have now. See how weird that looks? So here's my seam. Here's my other side seam over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did at the beginning. I'm going to mark a ½ inch here. And then I'm going to mark a ½ inch here. Okay. And then we're going to cut one off and stick it to the other side. Okay. All right, let's stick this on here. All right, so now I've got a 3 seam top. Well, except for the yoke. The yoke is not, makes extra. I'm just fixing this is, oops, 3M disaster. Come on, you can do it. Okay, here we go. All taped together. Nice. All right, so let's look at the full pattern piece. I'm having deja vu from when I made my other free seam. So this is how it looks. All right, so it's all one piece now. Over here, this is yucky. So I'm just gonna fix that. And then I'm gonna try it. So to fix it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my center front in half like this so I can make sure it's symmetrical, and I am pretty happy with this because if you look down here, you know, this is pretty symmetrical. See, it is lining up nicely, but I don't like this little thing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to patch a piece of paper here. So I'm patching a piece underneath here, like this. You can tape it on better after. And then I'm going to patch a piece of paper on here, like this. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my curve, which I have it. Oh, let me get my clear curve. Hold on. I'm just going to create a little bit of a curve. Pat says the idea that you can control where the seam dissects or crosses your breast is great. It really is. I mean, working on the bias does give you a lot of really cool, you know, cool options. And what I want to do here is I just want to soften the join from front to back like this. I think I'm just going to go like this. So it'll be like that. So see how I'm just softening that? And because I put paper in both, I can cut it out so it's symmetrical like that. So I like that shape much better. You know, and now that I have that nice shape, I'm just gonna, so like if you're doing something like this, like I obviously don't need all this big piece of paper, so I'm gonna just trim off, you know, some of this extra. And I'm just gonna tape it down and back too so it doesn't start to fall off. Okay. Alright, so there's that one's fixed. And this one, so this one, I don't need this. And I don't need all of this. I'm just gonna put this off. Alright, so I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna try sewing this together. And I think because I fine-tuned it and I'm happy with the fit, I think I'm just going to go right into my my linen that I intended for this project. I'm going to use my light blue Irish linen to make this lovely top. So I'll be sharing that with you when it's finished. But just to give you an idea, I just want to show you the final pattern here before I take off. Let me just get my, I'll show you here. Okay, so this is the front neckline right here. All right, I'm going to fold it in half like this to make it more manageable. Okay. So I think you can see that the way this works is this gets sewn onto this like this. So if I were to see if I can get it to, hold on a second, I want to see if I can put it together to show you. My hands are sticking to the paper, so I'm having a hard time. But basically, if I were to pin this to here, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. If I pin it here, and then I just pin down like this. And then pin it like this. Okay, so that is the seam. So now if I lay it on its front, let's see if I can get it to behave here. So I think you can start to see the shape, right? It's going to be something like this. I don't know, that's hard to see. You know, and these are the shoulder seams here and here. Okay, so that's where, all right, this is a losing battle for me, I think, but let me just put it like this so you can see. So you can see this is where the side seam goes from there to there. Okay, he's very curious to see how this is going to turn out. I highly recommend, if you're interested in this, to go check out my my bias top, my bias V-neck top. If you search for that in my, you know, on my channel, you'll find it. It's their FabFit Fridays, and you can see the process of this. So, yes, Pat, I think I'm going to make this into a pattern along with the other one. I have a lot of things I want to do. It's just everything takes me time. So, but I definitely want to make this into a pattern once I get it to fit. And oh, Samina says that's amazing. All right, well, thank you so much for following along with me with today. I think you can see I'm absolutely, I'm very moist. I'm very something, spitzy, very spitzy. Okay, says I will, you haven't watched yet. Yeah, just search for it. If you have trouble, you know, comment and I will send you a link. Or remember, I do have my YouTube Insider Club where it's much easier to find things. That is an option, and it's not a subscription club. It's a one-time payment. All right, I am working on a subscription club, but I need it to be so amazing before I launch it. It's going to take me a little bit to get that done. But in any case, I just want to wish everybody a wonderful 4th of July. You know, happy birthday, America. And it is time for the pool. I do have an in-ground swimming pool in my backyard, so don't feel sorry for me. After I have a 2:30 Zoom pants fitting. After I do that, I'm going to be off the clock for the rest of the holiday weekend, so don't feel bad for me. I am so grateful that you guys hung out with me in this heat and put up with my with myself. I do keep myself hydrated. I am a fan of Owala bottles, and the reason why I love this Awala bottle is because it's got a tapered design, so it fits in cup holders. And then the top, you push this button, and the top flips up, and you can either sip it here or you can, drink it. Either way, but it's empty. I have to get some more. Anyway, and see, my friend Carol from Dittoform gave me this sticker, which I love. And then when I was in Minnesota, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that saying, "You betcha." I thought that was cool. I got that when I was in Minnesota teaching last month. So this is my hydration station. All right, you guys, I am gonna sign off. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. Stay cool, stay safe. I'll see you next week with, I'm hoping, a finished version of this is what I'm hoping for by next weekend, by next Friday. So thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you again soon. Bye.